First, want to thank the event organizers from Payoneer for having me come out here. I feel really honored to be able to share my experience. You know, I've been here, as you heard, for 16 years. I first got here in 2006, so I've really seen this place change a lot. Before I go into my topic, a little bit about me. I always had an early knack for business management and really the people skills. So that's why I feel honored to be able to talk about the people and the culture and the development, because I feel like that's something that's one of my strengths. Again, I've been in the Philippines since 2006. I consider myself part of the living memory of Clark, because when I first got here, this place was abandoned. For those of you that don't know, this was an American Air Force base. The Americans pulled out in 1991. And when they left, they just up and left. And this place sat dormant for about 20 years. When I first got here, there was like one 7-Eleven in all of Clark by the parade grounds. There was one McDonald's in the back by the duty-free, right? That was it. I was actually even looking at some of the properties. Clark was showing me some of the properties around the parade grounds. And I opened one of the doors, and bats literally like flew out at me. I mean, this place is really abandoned. So. Oh yeah, here's a good quick story. People always ask me, how did you get to the Philippines? What brought you here in the first place? Really cool story. So I was a real estate agent, and I was generating leads. And we were doing some telemarketing. You know, I call it phone terrorism. Those are my humble beginnings, right? That's how I started, phone terrorism, lead generation. So I was ordering some voice over IP phones from Vonage. And I called, and I got this agent on the phone, and I could not identify his accent, all right? I'm an American. English is my first language. We're good at picking out accents. I can identify a Mexican accent or an Indian accent. This guy had me, I didn't know. And I was asking him, I was like, dude, where are you from? I'm in the call center industry too, right? He's like, oh, I'm in New Jersey. Like, come on, man, you ain't from New Jersey. I'm not buying that. And I got to the end of the call, and I was about to I did threaten to cancel my order. I'm like, look, man, you're not telling me where you're from. I'm just going to go ahead and cancel this big business order. And he's like, okay, sir, sorry, I'm from the Philippines. Boom. Loved it. I mean, he was so accommodating, good hospitality, and of course that accent. I just love the sweet Filipino accent. It falls good on the American ear, right? It's a really nice accent. So after I finalized that call, I immediately went ahead and booked my ticket, and I was in the Philippines about a week and a half later. No kidding. I was that inspired by that one phone call. So that's what got me here. It's a little cool story. People ask me anyways. So yeah, when I got here, this is what it looked like. Really, it really looked like this. I mean, there was hardly any cars on the road. This place was abandoned, but I immediately knew this is where I wanted to be. You know, the Americans had invested billions of dollars building all of this infrastructure here, right? And not only that, but Clark offered some great incentives, you know, for foreign investment. So I knew this was the place. I knew that Filipinos were the people, and this was the right place. So I was in the right place at the right time. It's really changed a lot. When I first got here, I'll talk about the talent. I think I have it here. Yeah, some talent then and now. So when I first got here, we would open up a job position, and I would literally have dozens of people lined up outside my office, ready to take that position. Loved it. I'm like, oh my God, this is great. These people are really eager. What a wonderful work ethic. We got them in the door, and unfortunately, back in 2006, BPO was still really new here. These guys didn't have the basic computer skills, trying to teach them a phone script. I mean, even email, much less trying to manage a dialer. It was really challenging. We were basically just dragging anyone off the streets, and we had to spend a lot of time and effort developing them. Fast forward now to 2022, I posted a job opening, and I still got 20 or more people lined up. The work ethic is still wonderful, but now I've got really high-skilled labor. Like, a lot of people that come to work for us already at least know the lingo of the BPO industry. You know, Filipinos love social media, so the computer skills are awesome now, right? It's not too hard to teach them how to manage the systems, collaboration software. They pick it up great. But here's what I really appreciate is that the skill level has increased so much in my time here, but the work ethic is still there, and I love that. It's really awesome. You know, in the West, I hate to say it, but they call it quiet quitting. It's tough, man. People in the West don't want to work, but Filipinos will show up ready to work, and I love that. So, okay. Here we go. So here's the takeaway, all right? I wanted to share my stories, but we come to these conferences because we all want to learn something, you know? We all want to have some takeaway. We have built a really awesome office. Yeah, sure, I'm biased because it's my office and I built it, but it is awesome. I mean, we really went through all of the check boxes to make sure that our company emulated a wonderful company culture. And that's something that I specialize in, and that's what I'm going to share with you guys today. So how to build a culture. And we like calling it a culture because we're cool at Clark Outsourcing. So number one, creating a fun environment starts with the design of your office. As you can see here in our office, we got a 35-foot Statue of Liberty. I invited our guys in, gave them cans of spray paint. We spray painted our walls. I got rid of the cubicles. Man, I worked for over a decade in cubicles. I hate that. I felt like I was in a cubicle prison. You know, you'd walk in, you got to go spend 9 hours in that office, and you walk in the door, and you're like, So now when people walk in, they walk in and it's, wow, what a breath of fresh air. I mean, this is the kind of place you wouldn't mind spending, 9 hours a day. Sometimes even after work, our people are still hanging out. They're in the break room. I'm like, come on, guys, go home. Get out of here. You want to bring a pillow and blanket? Stay for a few days? What's going on? So really, I feel that it's important that your company's culture should resemble the office. So it's in our DNA, from the ground up, the office design. And I won't elaborate on this too much, but I will tell you, I even got a little beef from the CDC trying to get my permits to do this. They were like, no, I don't think Philippines is ready for this. And really, they were discouraging me. And I stuck to my guns. And I'm like, no, I want to do this. This is the kind of environment that I want to work in. So I know that my people are going to enjoy working there as well. So number one, it starts with the design of your office. Make it fun, make it cool, all right? Make it a place you want to hang out. Okay, number two, top-down, good attitude and respect. Sorry for the French, but shit trickles downhill, all right? It really does. It starts at the top. It's a trickle-down effect, I feel that all the way from the executive level, from myself, to the top management, to the team leaders, to how people interact with each other, you have to have a level of mutual respect, okay? And it starts from the top down. There's actually an anecdotal story from one of my favorite speakers. His name is Zig Ziglar. And I won't tell the whole story, but it basically goes like this. The boss man was on the way to work one day. He got pulled over, got a speeding ticket, so he's already in a bad mood. He comes in, he sees his corporate secretary, some papers didn't get filed. I told you to file those papers. What's going on? If that isn't done, I'm going to find someone else who can do it. Now she passes it on to someone else with a bad attitude in the company, to one of the team leaders. Why wasn't this done? The team leader's now bitching at the agents. And then one of the agents go home, and she sees her son playing in her school clothes, and they're getting all dirty. So now she's going to yell at her son. I told you don't play with your school uniform on. What's the matter with you? You go to your room. The kid's going to his room. On his way to the room, a cat just happened to be walking by, and the kid kicks the cat. It would have been much better off if the boss man would have went straight to the agent's house and kicked the cat. And you could have saved everyone all the miserable problems, okay? So this is a prime example. It starts at the top and it works its way down. I treat everyone within my business with the same level of mutual respect that I want to see them interact with everyone else, okay? It's super important. All right, next, what do we got? The delicate balance of productivity and creativity. So our company, we started out with just 5 agents here in the Philippines. Now we have over 800, okay? So we've had to adopt lots of protocol and systems and all the software and this and that. But we have been able to find a delicate balance of how can we adopt these strict guidelines and processes, but still keep it fun. So one of the ways that we do it is we kind of have like this, like lingo. We have our own little acronyms and in-office lingo. So if we're going to delegate a task to somebody, this is just an example. Okay, we delegate the task, we delegate it properly with the right systems, and then we'll say, the ball's in your court. You know, it's part of our lingo, you know, it's part of our culture. It's a delicate balance. Sure, we have really strict processes we have to adhere to, but you can still do that in a fun way. So try to find a delicate balance, how you can do that. Number 4, the Pygmalion Effect. Does anyone know about Pygmalion Effect? Raise your hand. Nobody? Okay, cool. All right, well, I'll tell you the story about the Pygmalion Effect. There was a social experiment that they did in America back in the 50s where they picked students in a school by random and they put them in 2 different classes. They didn't tell the students what was going on and they didn't tell the teachers what were going on. They separated these 2 classes into an advanced level class and an underperforming class. But they actually weren't advanced or underperforming. Okay? They just picked them by random. And they told the teacher for the advanced class, hey, we got you some rock stars in this class. These guys were really top performers. You can expect great things out of these guys. The other class that was in the underdeveloped class, they told the teachers, hey, look, you know, these guys have been having a challenging time with their schoolwork. They might need a little extra attention. And therefore, those teachers didn't expect as great things out of them. At the end of the school year, lo and behold, the class that was assigned to the advanced class, who were just regular, normal, random people, became honor students, valedictorians. Some went on and got their scholarships and like became CEOs and stuff. And it's only because they were expected great things. Great things were expected out of them. The interaction that they got from their teacher was like that. And then the other class, unfortunately, that were expected and treated to be as underperformers, of course, they underperformed. There's no plot twist there. That's what you can expect. It's so important in your company. Look, you hired the people for some reason, right? They made it through your HR and they interviewed well. You hired them, so you better believe in them. Okay? Why would you have wasted your time and money getting those people in your organization if you don't believe in them and if you don't expect great things out of them? And you have to really be sincere and believe it. Obviously, or you wouldn't have hired them in the first place. I love walking through my company, high-fiving certain departments and like, hey, how's the best marketing department in the Philippines doing today? And I truly believe it. I helped pick some of those guys myself, right? They are awesome. My recruitment department, I always blow their head up with telling them how awesome they are. You've got to do that, okay? It's so super important. And luckily, in my career, I had a boss that did that to me too. And guess what? I achieved a lot more. So have those high expectations and hold them to it and reinforce that and let them know. Number 5, social responsibility. So this means charity, right? Social responsibility. It's important for companies as you grow to do charity. It's very normal. We actually get tax breaks and stuff from it. But for me, I think charity starts from within. We owe a social responsibility to our people first. It's kind of like when an airplane's going down, they give the instructions, it's in the seat pocket. What do they say? You put your own mask on first before you help other people with their mask. Before you go out there and try to change the world and help others, why don't you look in the mirror and focus on yourself first? So social responsibility is so super important. My next segment is going to elaborate on that, because the people in your organization are the greatest asset. So you need to invest in them, okay? We invest in continuing education. A lot of other companies do this as well. We have a scholarship program. We have people that have gone back for a second major. We have people who have gone and gotten their masters. And it's awesome. It's a wonderful investment that keeps on giving to us. We like to pay for workshops. We send our people to conferences like this. We get them certifications online. We have a cycling club, a basketball club, a badminton club. We have a singing club. We spend a lot of money on these events and doing that social responsibility within our own organization first. Then after that, that's when we focus on doing outside community efforts. And it also is a gift that keeps on giving, because once they've seen that we've taken the social responsibility inside our organization, we get a lot of our own people who become involved in the community stuff that we do. So we have a lot of people volunteer. We have a program called the CO Stars. I think we have 12 or maybe up to 18 kids now and families that we're supporting, sending them to school. We've done some efforts with the Aitas. If you guys are familiar with the indigenous population here in Sapang Bato. So we do that. And that'll wrap that up. Here's my biggest takeaway for any entrepreneur or manager, or no matter what your position is, you must realize this. The pinakamagandang asset, yung negosyo nyo, is the empleado, okay? It's so true. You know, I have no beef with finance people. I love my finance department. They're the best finance department in the Philippines. But if you ask them, what are our biggest assets? If you ask them, they're gonna tell you that, oh yes sir, it's that new 8 million peso generator that we bought. Yeah, it's our 1,500 computers. Oh, those servers. We've got millions of pesos in this and this and that. It's not true. The biggest asset is the people. And I can demonstrate that with this one anecdotal story. If our building burned down and all of those expensive material items burned up tomorrow, as long as each and every one of my people made it outside of that building alive, we can go to another building just across the street, start working, continue making money, and that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is proof that the biggest asset any company will ever have is going to be its people. Amen. Rock and roll. So, pasensya na di ko nagtagalog kasi marami din tayong foreigners galing sa iba-ibang bansa. Pero, yun din, igalang talaga ako yung mga empleyado ko at yung mga tao dito sa Pilipinas. Tapos, yun talaga ang dahilan natuto ako magtagalog. So, don't just say it. You got to prove it with your actions too, right? Okay, so we put together a quick little 2-minute video for you guys. Just want you to see it. It'll kind of showcase some of the vibes that we have in our office and some of the efforts that we've go through. Love it, love it. So, in conclusion, I named this speech Mugging Pearl Ulit. For those of you who don't know, the Philippines used to be considered the Pearl of the Orient, okay? And I truly believe in my heart that we're gonna be the Pearl again. I wouldn't have invested my whole life and everything I own to be here if I didn't truly believe in that. So, maniniwala ako yung diskarte ng mga Pilipino, syempre. And I've watched this place grow. It's kind of funny. It's like watching a child grow. You have to mark their height on the wall, right? Because you see them every day, you don't notice it. Well, that's what I've seen happen here. And I am so proud and honored to be a part of it here in the Philippines. Thank you, guys.